What is up, guys? Ivan here with getivan.com, and I'd like to welcome you all to UpBuck, which is my free course on how to make money using Upwork. All right, so let's get started. I have 4 points that I want to cover with you. Getting an account, specializing your profile, specializing your service, and specializing your target audience. So on point number 1, we're looking here at my back end. When you sign up to Upwork, you should be able to see this kind of an area. When you click this drop down, you should be able to see different account classifications. I'm under my freelancer right now. I've got a client account and I've got an agency account. It might be helpful. Now, it's been a number of years since I got into the system. I actually was originally in Elance, and at that point, I think it had been purchased or combined with Odesk or something like that into Upwork. And so I kind of was grandfathered into the system as a client, and as I think that I had signed up to be a freelancer, but I hadn't really done anything with it. Over the years, it's become more difficult for people to get into the system. Let me blow this up for a second while I talk about this. It used to be that there were 2 main ways, to my knowledge, that you could get in. The first was you had to do a bunch of skill tests, and the more skill tests you did, the more you presented yourself as a specialist, and then you would be approved to do services for whatever you said you were doing. But a couple of weeks ago, they actually removed the skill tests from Upwork. So some things have changed, and if I were you, I would be doing some searches out there. I haven't gone out and made any fake accounts on proxies or anything like that, okay? So I'm going to kind of defer that to you guys, to figuring out how to get into the system. If you can get into the system, that's the majority of the battle. The rest we can work on together, okay? The other way for getting into the system is, a while back, I was trying to bring in some people into my agency, a few different people, and I told them to go sign up, and then they said, hey, I got rejected. And so I just went to my agency account and I sent them an invitation to the agency, and then they were approved, and that was it. So, and actually, even if you've been approved by an agency, you can switch your account over to, you can make your account exclusive to servicing an agency, or you can make it to where it can do both. And so pretty sure that someone can be invited by an agency and then can then leave the agency and focus just on their account. So that's not a service or anything I'm offering for any folks, because I don't want to tie my agency account into, people that I don't know, not to be rude or anything, but you probably will be able to find somebody. If you absolutely cannot figure out how to get into the system, I'm just letting you know that I know that is a way to do so. So getting into the system, first thing you need to do, probably the hardest thing. Now, the other 3 areas, specializing, that's what I want to talk with you guys about. So let's dive right in. Okay. So first and foremost, let's talk about specializing the profile. I'm going to click on my profile. And I have a paid Upwork account. You can't see my slug, but my custom slug is actually local SEO services. So I grabbed that a while back. I don't know how many other SEO keywords are out there, but I got one of the good ones. I've been in the system for a few years, and most of let me see, you probably take a look at the last page here and see what the timestamp is. I don't see a timestamp. That's weird. Let's look up a little bit higher. This one, 2016, it's 2019. So at least, I've been in this for at least 3 years. I'm thinking maybe 4 years, but anyways, and you can see here that I've earned at least 10K over that period of time from 45 jobs. I think I've earned about over 5K from 17 jobs on the agency profile. So I just want to talk about this briefly. Before I talk about specialization, let me talk about kind of my criteria and why I might be considered someone to listen to, in the arena of getting advice for Upwork. So most of my experience has been an SEO consultation, mostly as a foot in the door service. As a consultant, I've mostly done audits, keyword research, and then consultation on SEO strategy. I do those services. I look for people who are trying to get those things done. I do those things for them. In the past, I have delivered those things through a Google Doc. So I'll basically go through their site and I'll essentially criticize various aspects and find areas where they can improve and correlate those things to common practice, essentially. And then I'll also do keyword research and basically bundle all that together and present it to them in a way where they can implement that information. From that point, if that person needs help doing certain aspects of that process or actually wants to retain my services, then that's something that I've done in the past. And the way that I'm doing things nowadays is a lot even heavier on the consultancy side. In the past, I've done a mixture, and I've had a small number of clients at any given time for SEO implementation and SEO retainers. So that's kind of my background. Okay. When you're looking at my account, understand that even though at face value you're seeing 10 to 15K, it's more like 60 or 70K, because most of this is foot in the door services. And then 9 out of 10 clients want to work just between us. And that's just kind of the nature of the platform. The Upwork backend is basically a Facebook Messenger. It's not a very sophisticated system for working with clients, and the commissions are really high, 20% commissions. You get a reduced commission they take a reduced commission from repeat business, but the thing is that most clients don't want to do it in Upwork. And so it's never been something where I've taken people away myself. And one of the reasons is out of fear, because people are known to be banned for that kind of thing. My focus has always been customer service, and that's how I have been able to build my reputation. So just a little bit of background on me as a seller, the success that I've had, and how I've used it. Now, keep in mind, there are some agencies out there who are doing arbitrage and have a bunch of little freelancers in their system, and they're doing hourly gigs and they're making millions. So there's a lot of different ways to do it. My strategy has been fixed price consultancy for a static set of deliverables. And so I have not worked, I don't think I even have one hourly job on my account. So that's what I've done. Now I'm going to dive into the profile and into the service side and into proposals. And I think I'm going to be able to share some things with you, even if you're experienced or you're making more money than I am. I can probably share something of value with you. So just stick around, up the speed of the video to 1.25, and let's get into it. All right. So on page is really simple. I don't really have a lot to say about it. There's a lot of people who want to act like, if you're not doing this one thing here, or this one thing here, this one thing here, then you're never going to have success. That's just not true. The important thing is to specialize your profile around a very specific service and a very specific person that you're trying to service. So, like I told you just a second ago, my focus has been SEO audits, SEO keyword research, SEO consultation. And so I have included those keywords here. Now, keep in mind, this area here is the meta title in Google search, I believe, if I recall. And this right here does show up in the meta description of Google search. So I have separated those things so that I can kind of allow my profile to rank in Google. Also in the body here, I focused on on-page keywords. Now, this is not Google. This is Upwork. And it might surprise some of you to know that this works. If you go to the client, and we'll go to my client profile here in a second. If you go to the client profile and you do a search for any of these keywords, with any of these locations, then you are going to see my little face coming up there, or my agency picture, because sometimes they bundle the freelancer into the agency umbrella. And so that has been something that I've acquired leads from. I've had clients come and say, you're like the only SEO person who's actually trying to do some sort of on-page SEO for your profile, and that's why we're hiring you. There's going to be all kinds of people hiring for all kinds of reasons. It's not that big of a deal. The main thing is that in your title, in the first, 2 to 4 sentences, you are targeting a service that is commonly being posted. Okay, exactly the keyword. And when you make your proposals, you're going to be applying for exactly the proposals that have that keyword in their title. Okay, and we'll get to that in the fourth point on specializing your proposals. But that's really all I have to share when it comes to profile specialization. You can put a video there. Some people watch the video. You can put portfolio. Now, in some services, your portfolio is going to be a lot more important. Obviously, if I'm hiring a logo designer, if I'm hiring a digital painter, if I'm hiring anybody that has anything to do with visuals, I'm going to want to see a visual example. But when it comes to something like SEO, for example, it's more about competency. It's more about testimonials than it is about visuals, because visuals can be falsified in SEO, and people regularly do falsify them. And so you have to be kind of careful with that kind of thing in certain spaces. But it's not to say that the average client isn't going to know better, right? So there are 3 areas. Number 1, your bottom line value proposition, your competency, right? Number 2, your testimonials or your social proof, your client satisfaction, right? And then number 3, your proof of value, or in some cases your price point, right? So something that sets you apart. If you do well in any of those 3 categories, you have a sales strategy. So if you do well in showing someone that you're competent, you're professional, you're targeting exactly what they need, you can make sales. If you do well in just getting good feedback, like you can see on my profile, where I have a 95% job satisfaction score, and I've had people say really great things about my services, you can make sales just from having good feedback. And again, and third point, if you have a good portfolio with clean demonstration of that value, or if you have a really competitive, offer, then you can make sales just on that basis also. But the better you do at those 3 areas, the easier the conversions. Okay, so keep that in mind also. Now, there's a bunch of other on-page things, skills, certifications. You can see I did a certification a couple of years ago, employment history, education, and they recently removed the skill tests. So it's I'm not really sure what they replaced or how they're doing that now. But and as you can see, there's profile specialization that I haven't even taken advantage of. But that's really it. The core of your on-page profile needs to be specialized around a specific service or a small number of services that are in the same family. Okay, and then I recommend you working really hard at client satisfaction, but it's really simple. That's all there is to that. So that's profile specialization. Okay. Second, let's talk about. And I actually before we move on, let me switch to the client profile here, and let's do a search for SEO consultant. I don't know if it's going to work from my profile. My profile may not show up. I did this in a tab recording, so you may have to do this in a separate browser that's not logged into account. Let's try SEO consultant. Well, first of all, let's do Fort Worth SEO consultant. That's where I live, so logically I should show up. I may not show up because I'm logged into my own account here, so. Yeah, it may not be that. Oh yeah, there I am. So in Fort Worth, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm 7 down here. And you can see my individual profile is here. And look at this, 27 jobs match your search. 7 jobs match your search. 52 jobs match your search. And then some of these guys don't. I think they rotate some of these guys to give them a chance. But you can see, look at this. This is an agency, 3 million plus earned here. But if we were to do this from Google, we would probably see, let's go ahead and do this from Google. Let's just see what happens. Fort Worth SEO consultant. Maybe we can find an Upwork thing and let's see. There's Thumbtack. I'm surprised Upwork is not on this page. Let's try SEO consultant, Fort Worth, Texas. There it is, Upwork.com. And so there I am, number 2 now. I used to be number 1 for a while. So I'm just kind of trying to demonstrate you that, you know, I've focused on specialization and it does work. Now let's do a search for some other city like Santa Fe. SEO consultant. I have not even tested this. So I have no idea if I'm even ranking here. Guess we'll find out. Oh, and look at me, number 1. And there's only 2 people because people aren't really doing that kind of thing, you know. But I mean, I do get invitations to jobs every week. Maybe some of them are from that. Maybe they're just from people posting jobs. I don't know. I just wanted to demonstrate to you that on page does work. Okay. Let's move on here from profile and let's go to the value proposition. So let's go back to my freelancer account and then we'll do some searches. I have an invitation interview right now, actually. Let's do some searches for services. Let's do web design. So if you're already in digital marketing, then you already know what you're going to do. And my recommendation when you're preparing to specialize in a service is pick a thing that maybe has maybe a few microservices underneath it, but pick a thing. My formula is who we are, what we do, who we do it for. And so this is the what we do. It needs to be very clear when someone sees your profile, you know, what you do. And then you need to, as you apply for jobs and perform, you know, implementation, it needs to be very clear that that is what you're doing, you know. And that's kind of sounds, obviously that sounds like no duh, but you know, there's a lot of ambiguity out there. And if we were to look at other freelancers, you would notice that it's not consistent. They're not really thinking about the keywords in their profile titles or the keywords that they're using. I would speculate, at least, that they're not specializing, you know, like at least I have done and have had success with. Anyways, and even just in that example, when we're looking at those profiles, you notice that there was only a couple of us in the top 10 that had done a lot of repeat jobs for specific categories. Anyways, a little bit of speculation on my part, so apologies there, but I think you get the point that I'm trying to make. Let's move on here. So when we're looking at any given keyword so I did a search on jobs, right? All right, I did a search for gigs that clients have posted and gigs that I might want to send proposals to. Now, I'm not going to send proposals right now. I'm going to save that for the final phase on proposal specialization. And that's the main thing that I have to share with you guys that is really going to allow you to be successful. Now, before we get there, when you click on filters, when you're doing any kind of keyword search, I recommend looking at these 2 areas. Looking at the number of hourly jobs and the number of fixed price jobs. And you can look at some of the numbers for any of this other stuff too. Obviously, people put their budgets here and you know, you could apply to things based on those budgets. But a lot of the stuff out there is not really the job proposals are largely a foot in the door. They're well, not a foot in the door. Of course, they're a foot in the door, but they're largely an introduction. And so it's more important to focus on what people are looking for, rather than all of the other extracurriculars that people place necessarily. Not to say that it may not be more relevant based on how, efficient you're trying to be with your time, but you would be surprised. There are some people with a lot of money who don't pay attention to this, or who don't pay attention to a variety of these areas. I mean, I've made probably the fastest money I ever made was getting hired by a local business owner within probably an hour and getting paid $2,000. And so, and the job was like a sentence. And so don't underestimate the client behind the gig. You really want to look for the keywords. You want to look for the industries, right? And the gravity in the interface. And that's kind of really where you need to start, and then specialize in something that clearly has a lot going on. Obviously, web design, any big area, web designs, social media marketing, probably email marketing, probably not as much as other areas. Paid ads, PPC, Facebook ads, Google ads. Okay, you can click on this category section, and you can look at some core areas to get some ideas if you're trying to figure out where you want to specialize. Okay. My recommendation to anyone new is to start in web design. Learn how to build a really simple WordPress website. There's always going to be a need for business on there's always going to be a need for new websites from startup business owners. And so, I haven't made 6 or 7 figures from Upwork, but I have made 5 figures, and I can show you how to make an extra, a few $100 a month, or a couple hundred, or a few $100 a month starting out through this specialization. And so that's kind of the goal. And you can always build on it from there. Okay. So finishing up on specializing in a service, do some searches on some core areas based on what you're interested in. If you don't know where to start in web design. Start in implementing really simple website. There's always going to be money there. There's graphic design activities. There's search engine types of activities, but don't get into anything that is too cumbersome. You need to keep it simple, and you obviously have to be confident that you can provide value in that space. Okay. But if you do some other searches here, if you're looking at these two here, do SEO, for example, you see $750 fixed price. Let's look at SMM. $268, so a lot less one-off gigs there, a lot less hourly gigs. If you look at email marketing, there's even a little bit more on the hourly side there, and about the same fixed price. And let's see here. Let's try social media marketing, because that's the long form of SMM. Oh, and there's a lot more interest there in that articulation. And so those are the kinds of things you need to look into. You need to be doing a bunch of varieties of searches. And when you're looking at something that, like web design, for example, let's say let's not do WordPress. Let's just say web design. Obviously, you can click here and you can look at some suggestions, get some ideas. You could specialize in CSS or in HTML. You could specialize in looking for JavaScript opportunities. You could specialize in, obviously, PHP. excuse me, there's, I mean, you could specialize in do-it-yourself web design consultation. I don't know the market for it, but you could make a little guide and sell the guide. Okay. Now, when you're looking at the opportunities, pay close attention to the titles and for what people are looking for. Web app, free festival, web design. So this is website for some sort of festival. Full stack developer, UI, UX, JavaScript, and so on and so forth. So take a look at some of the listings and take note of those kinds of things. And there's a relationship between the profile, between your product, and between the people that you're trying to sell those. You're trying to sell yourself and that product too. And if there's a disconnect at any point, you're going to have a hard time, you know. And so I hope you guys are following me here. All right, let's move on to the final point, and that's proposals. We're already kind of there. I could talk more about the product, but unfortunately, because there's such a large amount of variability, there's not really a whole lot more that I can say other than make sure that you're specializing on a specific product, that it's communicated on your profile, and that it's based on the actual market demand. Okay. And when you find something more specific, let's move on to point 4. So specializing your profiles, or specializing around your target audience, right? Or not profiles, specializing your proposals, specializing around your target audience. Okay. When you find that specialized product, for example, WordPress web design is more specialized. WordPress web design. If we type that in, we go from 1400 and 866, and it plummets to 450 and 300. And if we were to go even more specific than that, it would plummet again. So WordPress web design, you could say WordPress CSS web design, or WordPress JavaScript web design, or whatever. And it would get, the more that you specialize, the more I think the more likely you are to get hired by those people looking for those specific things. You don't want to go too obscure, but it's ideal to go, maybe if tier 1 would be, say, a general category like web design, and then latching on a descriptor would be tier 2. I would say somewhere between, I would say tier 2 is a pretty good place to be, maybe 3, and I wouldn't go below tier 3, you know, because then it's a little too obscure. Okay, so this is where what I do, I think, really sets things apart. My strategy is really simple. You get a certain amount of connects every month, and they don't give free connects out anymore, so you have to pay for them. And the amount that each connect is costs is a lot more now. Costs a lot more to send your proposals. So you really want to be even more focused on just the rich opportunities. There's a disparity in these marketplaces. The client has a certain level of entitlement, but the truth is that the power is really with the service provider, because the service provider sees hundreds and hundreds of new opportunities every day. But the client, every time they post their job, they only get less than maybe 50 proposals on every job post. And so when you think about it, the power is, you know, obviously the client could continuously create new proposals and work to send out new invitations. And even Upwork makes more money if the client pays for, you know, to feature their listing. And in some cases, they'll have Upwork people that are talent specialists sending invitations for the client. But it's still not that much. I mean, there's significant diminishing return from the client side, whereas from our side, it's a lot easier to examine and to send proposals than it is for the client. The client looks and they see pictures and they see, maybe a sentence about the person when they do the invitations. And then they see a more specific segment on the actual people who are responding to those things, right? But for us, it's literally just a list and pages, Everything else is anonymous or extremely secondary. Okay, so the goal here is to look for the specialist keyword. And in fact, what I do is I do an all-in title search in the Upwork search bar. So I make sure that the title has specific keywords when I do proposals. And it's usually tier 1 type of keyword, so broad. And then once I have that search, then I sort through those. Now you could do things basically one of two ways. You can either send a bunch of connects at one time and, just it's a shotgun, see what comes from it. Or you can get on 5 minutes every day and only send a small number of proposals to the perfect job opportunities. And now I've done both. I've sent blasts and I've done more specialized. You have to be consistent if you're going to do it that way, but it works way better. The likelihood of getting a job, of getting hired for something, is exponential by comparison. If you send out a bunch of random proposals, like, you may get a job, but then you're wasting your connects. Now, that being said, I haven't run out of connects in 3 years. And it's just because every time I sit down to set connects, I typically get a job and I get busy and I get distracted and I stop being consistent. But the key to this is specialization and 5 minutes a day sending those proposals. And that's basically it. If you get too tied up with all the secondary details, you're going to have a hard time. You're going to feel like you're wasting your connects. You're going to feel like you're not getting the kind of recognition that you should, because you're not focused enough. So that is my best recommendation. In the years that I've done this, you have to be very specialized. All right, let's move on. So let's take a look. Let's do some real proposals. Let me do some proposals on my own account to show you what I would do. So first of all, let's delete this. Let's do an all-in title search for SEO. You see, when I click this drop down, I can do these here. I want this in the title, SEO. Now, my service has changed a little bit. I'm a lot more on the consultancy side, but I'm still doing audits and keyword research. I'm just not doing implementation anymore. I'm going to go over here for a moment and grab my swipe here. So I use a swipe in all the stuff that I do. I don't send, this is another thing, don't waste your time with custom messages. That stuff, I have not noticed in 3 or 4 years, I have not noticed a consistent return on custom messages. Sometimes it feels necessary, but I'm going to give you the secret to my sauce here. If you see too many words, move on. Okay? You're in business to make money. You're in business to keep things, when I do my business, I want to keep things simple. I don't want to spend 40 minutes replying to an essay by some person who's, now if I have a relationship with the client and I'm making money, I'm more than happy to answer essays and bullet points and things like that. But if I'm not getting paid, I'm not going to waste my time. This is an introduction. This is not me consulting you before I've been paid. And so I'm not trying to sound entitled or bratty, but this is important if you want to be efficient. So SEO plus SEM rush consultant needed for 5 to 6 hours per month. No, I'm not going to deal with someone who is prioritizing some sort of tool. I'm not interested in that. Backlinks and SEO suggestions. I don't do backlink gigs because backlinks are valuable. They take work, they take relationship nurturing, and the people in the open market pay garbage for backlinks. So I do not do backlink gigs. Okay. Developer marketer needed for creating a responsive WordPress theme, news theme, or site with SEO. I'm not going to develop a theme, especially for, obviously $100 is probably just thrown out there. Now they are US based. Now a quick note on the location. I do look at the location. I don't do jobs. I don't apply to jobs in India or in the Middle East or in China or, I don't think I've done any jobs in Germany. I've done some jobs around the world, mostly in the United States, Canada, Australia, a small number in the UK. Much less likely to be hired in the UK for some reason than the other English-speaking countries. Did one job. I remember doing one job for someone in Ireland, and I did one job for. I've done a small number of jobs in foreign countries, and in one case, I had a guy speaking perfect English for forever, and then at the end, it was like he didn't understand anything I was saying. So I don't apply to foreign countries. I focus on the United States, Canada, Australia. So make sure you pay attention to that. Reputation management, SEO help. Now this could be okay, but look at this backlink. So this is short. This is an opportunity, but reputation management is a specialty form of SEO that takes a lot of work that I'm just not really interested in getting deeply involved in. So I skip over that. What you have to understand is, let me touch on this briefly. Now, some of you are maybe insulted or don't really want to hear about my business side of things or how I feel about ROI. If that's the case, I apologize. It has nothing to do with, maybe I'd like to make a comment on how we're approaching things in the industry, but from my purposes, I have found that a lot of forms of implementation have a vastly lower return on investment for me, for my work, than by consulting. And that is why I have shifted to consulting more because the money is better. You make less money, but compared to implementation, where you're doing a ton of work, it's a higher ROI. From the consultancy side. So that's what I'm focusing on. And that's what I'm looking for here in this case. And that's something you need to think about. There's a lot of people who will pay you a lot of money to do a lot of work. And by the end of it, what's your profit? That's what you need to be asking yourself when you're constructing your service offers. So search engine optimization, SEO. My website needs SEO. Bravo. This is the ideal client right here. So I would control click this right here and open this in a new tab. And what I do is I open a bunch of tabs and then I copy paste my swipe into all of those. Now for this purpose, it'll open it up in a pop out. I scroll down, or where's the proposal? Submit proposal. And it looks like it opened it in another tab. I wonder if I can, here, let me paste this here so I can show you guys. And sorry, okay. So you have Connects as a freelancer, you have Connects as an agency. For the ones that I don't really feel excited about, I'll usually send them from my agency. I've noticed that my freelancer profile has a much higher conversion potential. People want to hire a person. They don't want to necessarily hire an entity. So I set my 375 delivery in less than a week, and then I paste my swipe. Now, let me show you my swipe here. I don't recommend copying it, but come up with something on your own. My swipe is built a lot like how I present myself in my profile and how I want to speak to that client that has posted based on the thing that they are looking for. So do-it-yourself white hat SEO consultation. Here's a link. And I probably I don't want to do, well, I'll just leave SEO tutorials. That's some information about my stuff. So if you have a website, definitely put some educational material, a link to educational material in there. That's helpful. Do what the experts do at cost, tailored to your brand. This is what it comes with. So here's what this is about, right? This is the general synopsis, and then here are the elements of the package: on-page video audit, SEO guide with docs and videos, custom keyword research with video review. And then so we've got what we do, right? The value of that kind of thing. So here are the elements of what we do. And then here's the social proof. Here's the proof that we have done it successfully, right? And then there's just a couple of other notes here on reviews and all this business. But that it's really simple. In the past, when I first started, I was literally hitting the limit of the character count. I was including this huge amount of information. And I even got like some sort of I think I got like a rising, when I first started, I think I got rising star right after. At one point, it got a notification of it right after I sent a proposal. So when you're sending proposals, like there's some sort of scoring system to all that. But I did not notice that it helped. I actually had a potential client tell me that, I don't know about this and this and this. Here's what I need. This is all I need. Can you help me with this? So keep it simple. Some people may be helped by the vast amount of stuff. I think it helps to have the elements there, but it needs to be a specialized swipe. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that and submit this proposal. Yes, I understand. Continue to submit. So that's really it. You just find really simple opportunities and submit your proposal. Okay. This guy has a review and blah, whatever. Okay. Let's go back to find jobs. Let's go to, can I go to this page? Yeah. So let's go to, normally I wouldn't navigate away, but I'm on tab recording, so we need to just do it all in one area. I'm not going to click and apply to any of the others. I'm just going to show you the kinds of opportunities. So reputation management, I already applied to that one. Review 4 SEO articles and polish the content. I don't do content work because it pays garbage. It's a lot of work and it pays garbage. Multiple city local SEO for small replacement window WordPress. So this would be great implementation opportunity. They have a real budget there. That's a great opportunity for getting involved in implementation. If I was, being that I'm mostly focused on consultancy now, that might be something I look closer at to see if it's a good opportunity. Now, a quick note, for opportunities, some of these opportunities, they will post follow-up questions, say 5 follow-up questions, and you got to ask, what's your greatest skill, or, why did you apply to this job, or answer this question. Any of those that have questions, I immediately close the tab, because even if they're valid questions, I don't care. I don't want to waste my time answering 15 questions. Something I have found doing client work, and I've serviced, I don't know, somewhere close to 100 clients over the last few years in various capacities. And something that I've found is that the way that client makes that proposal is an indication. It's an early indication of how you're going to be able to deal with that person. And so if they're direct, if they keep things simple, concise, if they know what they're looking for, that's a good sign. If they're the kind of person that posts a big page with a ton of stuff, and they have, you need to do this, you need to prove you can do this, there's too much micromanaging going on. You're not going to make money with that person, and that might be shocking to some, but that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to develop good relationships and keep things simple, because I want to scale my business. I don't want to spend all my time focusing on resolving the fear of a potential client before we can actually have a functional relationship. And every once in a while, I come across someone like that. And I had one guy, for example, who I consulted, and he's a nice guy. But then he revealed to me after we were finished, he said, I had a great experience with you. I really love the stuff you've given me and all this business. I've hired 15 other SEO providers before you, and I had bad experiences. That's not a good sign. If you do the math, 15 SEOs divided by 6 months, that's not a good sign. It's not likely that someone can hire 15 SEOs in a row and have bad experiences. What's more than likely is they're making it a difficult experience. The client is making it a difficult experience, or the client isn't following instructions or whatever. And that was the case in my experience. The client had enjoyed what I gave him, liked the value that I provided, didn't take action on it. Followed up with him later, said he took action, but he didn't. And so you've also got to be careful of that kind of thing. My goal is to find the right kinds of folks that I can enjoy doing things with, and that appreciate the kind of value that I provide, and there are some people out there who will try to use and abuse and take advantage, and they keep squeezing and squeezing more and squeezing more, and you don't want to get involved in an abusive relationship. I'm just trying to explain that one of the indications that I have found of that is, and I even have a case study. If you go into my blog and do a search on the Iraq Freedom SEO client or something like that, there was a potential client who I was in back and forth conversation with on Upwork. This is not someone I worked for, and they actually admitted in the conversation that they're looking for someone to micromanage, and they learned how to employ psychological manipulation when they were in the military and all kinds of weird things. And so there are some really, you don't want to get into that kind of situation. And so that is why I'm trying to explain the importance of simplicity in your proposals and the people that are writing those gigs. Okay, so that might be a good opportunity. Copywriting. Now, there's a lot of money there, so that 30 to 50 pages, that's not really that bad for $5,000. That could be a good copywriting opportunity. I typically don't look at copywriting opportunities, but that is probably a good opportunity. So that might be something to look at. Let's see here. Writer for SEO optimized blog posts for Los Angeles wedding event planner. Yeah, probably not, because if it's something really big like this, you're going to be able to take the time. But something really specific that takes industry knowledge, this is really something that this wedding and event planner, they should be doing their own blog posts. They should be doing their own content. And that's one of the disparities of content in SEO, is nobody wants to pay any money and everybody wants some flash fire researcher. And, how effective is that really going to be? And what always ended up happening to me is I do way more work to make sure that it's high quality, and I end up feeling like I got paid nothing. So I typically do not do content jobs. Factoring, financial services writer, blog writer needs to know, not doing writing. Technical SEO. I do not apply for technical SEO jobs. Now, there is keyword research here, so I might apply because of that. Let's click on this and see how complicated it is. Okay, a bunch of questions. I'm not interested. Even if there's potential, if they ask a bunch of questions, I move on. And the reason is You can always come back tomorrow. You know, every day, if you send a few proposals to high quality potential clients, that's all you need. Come back tomorrow, send a few more to high quality potential clients. Don't waste your time with people that you aren't absolutely confident are going to be simple. Okay. SEO for new website. That's a pretty good opportunity. Video marketing agency just rebranded, launched a new website, looking for experienced SEO expert to manage site optimization. So that's implementation. So that could be a good experience, but they're also a tech company. And so you gotta also kind of be like, you got to be careful with tech companies because they tend to act like they know more than you all the time and want to micromanage. And so you got to be careful. Some of my best clients are tech companies though. So, okay, SEO rich blog posts, men's apparel store, $100. Nah. WordPress and SEO, financial firms, several projects, develop relationship, qualified freelancer, troubleshoot. So this could be a good opportunity. I'd probably send an application to that. Let's click on that one. Revamp spin-off sites. Okay. SEO, digital marketing and content marketing strategy. Okay. So only one question. That's not bad. So that could be a decent opportunity. SEO analyst, analysis of our website. Oh, and by the way, in case I didn't explain it earlier, I typically don't apply to the technical stuff because only a very specific segment of people know what technical SEO even is. And it's the people who have typically bought into the fact that there's something special about downloading Screaming Frog and doing a scan and calling that technical SEO. I mean, that's a whole other topic, but I don't typically get involved in those kinds of things because those are micromanaging type jobs. SEO analyst needed. We need SEO analysis of our website performance. Experts needed very particular questions on why our blog posts are not getting. So this is perfect for me, like, because I can basically go in and figure it out and give them an answer. Keyword research. This would be a good job. They spent $50,000. So this is a consultancy type job. This is a good thing for me. Facebook SEO expert need for generating online leads. Nah, too many words. Also, dual interests. SEO website content creator needed for basketball training club team organization, training and club team organization. That's a content job. And also look at this optimized title type. That's a VA. That's VA work. You're not going to make any money on that. Small law firm seeking marketing expert for lead gen strategy, looking to create, implement strategy, small general practice. What's it, create, implement? Open ideas. Okay, so this could be a good opportunity. I like to look for opportunities from businesses that are established. Local businesses are good. It's not that you're doing local SEO, but the local businesses like law firms, electricians, plumbers, they're making money. They have money to pay. They need a solution. They need advice. They need counsel. And so I look for those kinds of opportunities and I send proposals to those kinds of things. Rewrite, create marketing copy for website. No, definitely not. Too many words. Advanced SEO technical audit for e-commerce website. No. If somebody can't make the site right, now maybe it's an older site. I get that. I get the market for it, but I'm not interested in fixing a problem that was created by some previous web designer. Okay, SEO expert for a website. We're looking to work with an SEO freelancer who can help us to ensure that the content of our website is optimized. We include helping us rework existing content, create. That's VA work. Slide deck creation for SEO demo. I'm not sure what that is, so I'm not going to waste my time. SEO copywriting, basic medical. That could be good if someone indicates a specific niche and you're experienced in that niche, then there might be an opportunity there. But to be honest, if I was hiring for this niche, I would literally go to a medical blog. I would go find a doctor. That's who they need to hire. They don't need to hire an SEO person. They need to hire an influencer. Okay, SEO expert needed to do SEO audit of law firm website. So that could be a good one. We need experienced SEO blog, predominantly in legal industry. Nah. Same story. If you're looking for if someone's looking for content, they need to find an influencer, not an SEO or a digital, not a writer. They need to find an influencer. Writer for SEO driven blog posts on men's grooming. Okay, $1,000 is a lot, so that might be worth doing 10 articles. See, it's 10 articles, 1,000 words per article. That could be a good content writing opportunity. And that men's grooming is a pretty common thing that any man could write on. We are an easygoing yet motivated team of highly skilled professional in both search engine marketing and optimization. Recently did a new website, lost our rankings. I don't think so. A lot of words here. Be very wary of we ranked and then we stopped ranking. It's no fun. It's not really very much. The money is in businesses who are looking to create the system. They already have a business. They need to know how to do more business. The money is not in damage control. And not that there's not money there, but in that you will have to take time to solve a puzzle. Anytime you have to solve a puzzle, you're wasting your time, and you make less and less money the longer it takes to solve the puzzle. And when you don't know what's been done before, it can take a while. So don't get involved in puzzle solving. Not that some people won't pay you a lot of money, but that it can be irritating, and you make less money the longer it takes. So just find something where okay, this business is starting out, they need this system, they need a site. Here's what they want the site to look like, right? Here's the niche they're in. Everything needs to be mapped out, so you have an expected path to success. Okay. SEO audit and analysis. Give us a thorough analysis of our website, necessary steps to improve our SEO. Basically, want a full audit report and list specific action steps to implement the keywords. Recommendation on tools to implement. After the report, we'd like 1 hour phone consultation to make sure we understand the necessary steps. Looking for a technical analysis, not puffy overview of stuff, but actionable technical steps we can take to improve our rankings. See, there's a lot of good things in there that are up the alley of what I do, but then look at this. 4 questions, and Santa Barbara, California, 40% higher, lots of business. I've had a small percentage of technical analysis where they don't even know what they're looking for. I give them a technical analysis, make them a giant list of 3 pages of bullet points on things to change, and I've had a couple of people who have made this statement. Not a technical analysis, not puffy overview stuff, but actionable. So that kind of is a red flag to me, because that says to me, be very wary of disgruntled communication, because that can mean that if they're disgruntled in the past, they can be disgruntled with you easily. Okay. And so that's not to say that obviously we don't want to do well. I have a 95% success rate, and a lot of people with good reviews, because I've worked that's the work here. The work is acquiring customer satisfaction. But these are some red flags that I'm trying to make you aware of. Okay. So I know I spent a ton of time on this point, but this is really the work. Do a title search for the specialization that you're looking for. If you want to be more specific, like I could be more specific here. I could put audit, I could put keyword, I could put WordPress, but specialize with a title search and then just go through, make sure you're looking at the time. Also posted a day ago. You typically want to post only on things within that 24-hour period. Some people will say, the faster you can reply to the job, the more likely you're to get hired. I don't think that's true. I mean, it just depends on the person. Some people have contacted me weeks or months later. Okay. So the point is that you just need to apply to the right jobs and pay close attention to the way that they're talking in their proposal, because you can discern a cursory overview of the kind of person that you may be getting ready to work with. And in my experience, I have been extremely successful at being able to largely successful at being able to find the right kinds of people who are looking for the kind of thing that I'm doing. Okay. So specialize in what you're searching for. Look carefully at the titles and make sure that the right terms are there. Make sure that it's been posted within 24 hours, and only look for and look for very small descriptions, no more than 4 sentences or so. 1 or 2 sentences is ideal. Really simple title, really simple description, and throw your swipe out there. Structure your swipe. Make sure you're applying to English-speaking countries. Now, did I do? Oh, I'm selected on US only. So keep in mind, when US only is ticked, you will only see people that have elected to only hire people from the US. It's not actually only United States proposals. It's only maybe I'm mistaken, but last time I checked, this is how it worked. It's only the people who are looking to hire specifically others in the US. So if you don't have this ticked off, you'll actually see more US job opportunities. So I think need SEO help for website 16 minutes ago. I have a Squarespace account, SEO Guru to optimize, etc., etc. And the funny story here, I have applied for a lot of Squarespace SEO jobs, and I have received very few. And the reason is because I would assume that it's because I have a lot of WordPress stuff on my profile and in the history for the jobs that I've been hired for. So it makes a difference. It's petty, but for some reason it makes a difference. But yeah, look at the title, simple title, simple description. Look out for trigger words, like where people are being critical, because that could be a red flag. Look out for, 15 follow-up questions or complex, job descriptions. The key here is you're offering your statement of purpose on your profile is very simple and targeted. Your product is very simple and targeted. The people, the proposals you're sending and the gigs you're sending them to are very targeted, and you are trying to discern based on the simplicity of those posts who may be a simple person to work with. Not that they're simple dumb, but that they're easygoing. Okay. And that is what has allowed me to, it's really a simple thing. Once you get this account set up and you have something to sell, then you're literally just spending 5 minutes a day and you're just sending a few proposals to the simplest gigs. Okay. So that's pretty much it. I have paid more than $1,000 in the past on for, at one point I bought a high ticket Upwork course, and it was the biggest waste of $1,000 in my life. Some of the advice being given out there on how to make money online and how to be successful on Upwork is just nonsense. There's all these reasons why if you don't do this, you're not going to be successful. Thing is that the key to getting good at anything, to having success at anything in life, is consistency. That's all there is to it. And so however you do things, if you get on every day and you send a few proposals, you're going to find work eventually. Okay. So that's all I can say. The rest of it is just really trying to help you guys to hone in on what I have observed, what I've tried to achieve with the things that I've done. And that's really just simplicity, just keeping things really simple, really clear, and being targeted, being intentional with every facet of your identity as a freelancer, with your identity, the identity of your product or your service, and trying to have discernment into the identity of the people that you're about to work with. And when there's a Bible verse that says, "Can two walk together except they be agreed?" And I think that definitely applies here. You're looking for people who you're equally yoked with, so to say. You're looking to match up your product with the people who are specifically looking for you in the product. And so that's pretty much it. I appreciate your time. I hope you've gotten something from this. If you have anything to say, just contact me. Head over to getivan.com and fill out a contact form, and just let me know what you think. Let me know what you feel. Let me know. Just say, hey, whatever, If you want any extra consultation, if you have other questions, I charge by the question now. I charge a small amount to answer a small number of questions. And statistically, I found that clients ask maybe 30 questions every 2 weeks or so. And so I've tried to price my questions and the perceived value, not perceived value, but I've tried to evaluate the substance and the quality of those responses to be able to provide my clients with the most value for the least amount of money. So, it's as simple as, getting a small number of questions answered for a small amount of money. But as you can tell from this video, I provide a lot of information, a lot of detail, a lot of documentation I provide on my website. And my goal is to, just provide as much value as I can for free. And then when it comes to custom and tailored answers from me that take up more of my time, I try to provide a very reasonable price that allows me to be compensated and to feel like that my time is being spent well, but also that you guys are receiving a legitimate amount of value. So if that's something that you have that might be of interest to you, it's pretty cheap. Head over to getivan.com and give it a try. Answer or ask a couple of questions and see how you like it. And you're always welcome to ask some cursory questions up front. And if they're really simple, or if I can't answer those questions or whatever, I'll give you feedback before you pay. And so give that some consideration. Thank you for your time, and keep it simple. I'll catch you soon. Thanks. Bye-bye.